Oh, hi. Hey, I heard you met someone you like, and there's butterflies in your stomach. You're looking forward to seeing them again, but you're not sure what to do next. Well, stay tuned.
Visit SpectrumInsights.ca.
Hi, welcome to Spectrum Insights and our video series on dating. Our first part is going to be on making a good impression and the anatomy of a fun date. This video series will be broken up into two parts, and they're based on notes from a recent workshop we did with our Moving Forward adult program. Before we get to meeting a special somebody, let's just talk about making an impression anywhere you go in the world. If you walk into a room, our eyes will gravitate towards things that are familiar to us. It could be a shirt, it could be a logo, it could be a style of dress, it could be the age of person, it could be their sex. You may be more comfortable talking to a group of guys in their 20s versus a group of girls in their 30s. It could also be cultural. If you see somebody dressed and they speaking another language, perhaps you may be uncomfortable going to speak with them because you do not know the language and customs. So when we walk into the room, we generally scan and look for things that are familiar and comfortable for us. All right. We also look for the way people are dressed, how they're behaving, and things that make us comfortable or uncomfortable. So if you have any behavior that makes people uncomfortable, and this could be how you smell, how you dress, and how you behave, it will make a first impression on somebody. And the first impression will be lasting. If they have a positive first impression, they will talk about you positively to their friends and family, think about you often, and look forward to seeing you. If you make a negative impression, people will not look forward to seeing you. They may go out of their way to avoid you and may talk poorly about you to their friends and family. The first thing you can do to make a good impression is to make sure that you're clean and well-dressed. If you are not clean, if you do not smell very nice, if your clothes are dirty, people may assume that this is how you live your life. Your home life could be cluttered, messy. Perhaps you don't care about things. This is the impression that you'll give if you do not smell good and look good. If you do not smell nice, it is off-putting to people around you. So this is why hygiene is very important. It makes a very good first impression. When you walk into the room, how people look at you and what they see in the first few seconds really do matter. Before you go out, look in the mirror. Just take a look at your shirt. Is it clean? Are there any stains on it? If so, take it off, get a new one. Have you taken a shower? Take one, please. Put on deodorant. I would avoid perfumes and colognes. They can be overpowering for people, especially depends on the location or venue you're going to. If you happen to know the person that you're going to see likes perfumes and colognes, a small amount is good. It's best to talk to a family member or friend and let them tell you if things are overpowered, if you smell too strong, or if it's too little. Ask for advice on the clothes you're wearing. You can get somebody to give you fashion tips. Go shopping with a friend or family member to find shirts that look good on you, clothes, dresses, skirts, pants, things that fit you well and make you look good. And that's part of the idea of dressing up. Also, too, choosing the right color makes a big difference. So part of dressing up nice or dressing to please somebody is to stand out, make yourself more attractive. So keep that in mind when you're going out to meet that special somebody. Monologuing. Monologuing is when you talk too much about your favorite thing. Also, quite possible the person you're talking to may have autism or ADHD. They may monologue themselves. So don't forget, as much as you're trying to make a good first impression on them, they're also making an impression on you. So you're learning a lot about them. Do you really want to date this person in the future? Do you want to pursue a relationship with them? Do you want to hang out with them? So if they're monologuing and only talking about themselves, does that make you feel special? Vice versa, if you're monologuing a lot and you're not giving them a chance to join the conversation, then they will not feel good and they will walk away and say negative things about you and maybe try to avoid you in the future. So do not monologue. As I mentioned before, a good conversation is a nice back and forth. Just share a little bit information about your favorite thing. If you both have a common interest, then make sure you take turns, talk a little bit about your favorite thing and give them a chance to talk about their favorite thing. There are certain clues you're looking for. A person may open their mouth just a little bit, That usually is a sign that they want to have a turn to speak. They may motion toward you with their hand. They may touch you or step closer. That is a sign that they want to speak too. So look for signs that they want to join the conversation or be part of it. If you are looking up when you're speaking, looking away from them, that is a sign you are monologuing, because you are literally just daydreaming, thinking off into space about your favorite thing and enjoying those thoughts. You're not paying attention to them. Your job is to focus on their body language. Are they listening to you? Are they nodding their head? Are they leaning closer to you? That's a sign that they're interested in you. If they're a step closer to you, that is another sign they're more comfortable with you. Are you giving them positive body language? Is your body facing them? Are you leaning a little bit closer? Not too close, remember, an arm's length away, but by leaning closer, it just shows that you're listening, you're interested. Nodding your head is really important. I've talked about this in my previous video on giving feedback. So make sure that you're giving appropriate feedback. Show that you're interested. Smile, laugh at their jokes. If you do not give the correct feedback during these moments, they will become uncomfortable, and that's what you do not want to have happen. So watch my video on feedback. I'll link it down below. Check it out, and that'll help you with the conversation part, the back and forth. Now, this next step is a tricky one, giving compliments. You see them, you think they are beautiful or really handsome, you like what they're wearing, and you want to gush. Oh, you're so beautiful, you're so handsome. Gosh, you're gorgeous. Don't do it. Flirting and compliments can be really awkward if you do not know how to do it. My suggestion is to avoid it entirely. What I do suggest is you give compliments on things that they're wearing or things that they have. So you may say, hey, that's a great color, or I like that necklace. Cool watch. If you do develop a relationship with them, in the future, by all means, you may gush and talk about how beautiful and handsome they are. But on a first impression, you don't want to make them uncomfortable. The idea is if you're pressuring them, if you're coming on too strong, it's usually a turnoff for other people. It's best to just treat it as a potential friendship first. This will be way more natural. You will feel more comfortable. They'll feel more comfortable. Look forward to seeing each other. Once you introduce dating, or the idea that you want to date them, if the chemistry is not there, they may not want to pursue a friendship with you. So take it slow. Keep it casual, be friendly, get to know them. Do not come on too strong. When you meet somebody and you're feeling a little funny inside, you're feeling a little vulnerable, a little sensitive, they may be feeling the same thing. So please only point out their positive traits. Do not point out the negatives. And don't be whiny. Don't be critical of other people. And please do not gossip. If you gossip about other people, that person will assume that you'll gossip about them. Do not gossip. Try not to vent unless you're both venting about the same thing. That may be fun. You may enjoy complaining about a movie. You may enjoy complaining about a band. As long as you both are in agreement about the thing you dislike, that's okay. You guys are bonding about something. Just make sure you're not critical of people, let's say, at the party that you're at or at the venue that you're at. Don't be critical of people that you know. Again, it's like a form of gossiping. They may assume that you'll speak poorly about them in the future. It also speaks volumes about your personality. So be kind to the person you're speaking with. Be complimentary about the things that they own. Don't gush about their beauty. If you happen to be in an environment where there's waiters, make sure that you are nice and kind to them. Give compliments. Don't forget to tip. Be kind to the host at the party. So again, you're making a good impression socially so that they know that you're likable to everyone around you. All right, so you did it. They like you, and they've called you. They replied to your emails. They've texted you back. They're on direct messaging somehow, and they want to spend more time with you. Fantastic. You did it. So you got to think about where to go and what to do. So what will make a memorable first date? You need to make sure that they anchor positive thoughts to you. An example, you're on a roller coaster together. That is fun and exciting. They'll anchor the memory, the positive feelings with you. Now, let's be realistic. Roller coasters are not for everyone. So before we get to the actual date part where you can go, you need to do a lot of research first. The person you're with most likely will have autism as well, perhaps ADHD. So you need to consider their sensitivities to light and sound and smell. You need to know what kind of food they like or dislike. They may have strong thoughts about food. Are they introverted or are they extroverted? So if they're introverted, you need to choose a restaurant the right time of day, maybe when it's a little bit quieter. If they're extroverted, you can choose a louder restaurant. Are they adventurous? Are they shy? These are all things we need to look at. So we're going to step into this territory right now. Plan ahead to avoid mishaps. Do not assume anything. Do your research. If trying something new, check the website, read reviews. What is your budget? Can you afford the venue that you're going to? Here's something. If you ask somebody out to dinner, did you know that you're obligated to pay for it? It's just tradition. So if I say, hey, do you want to go for dinner? I am paying for it. Check the menu. What can you afford? Come prepared with enough money for yourself and your date. The person may offer to pay for their meal. Generally, in North America, Canada especially, that's just a sign of just being polite. Say no, and you still continue to pay. In the future, you may then, once you get to know each other better, you can decide that you're both splitting a meal together. But for a first date, if you're asking them out, traditionally, you pay for it. Just go with it. Check your budget. Make sure you can afford the venue that you're going to. Research noise, lights, smells, and crowds. Will your date be anxious about any of those things? Research or go visit the venue first. Something to think about, a time of day. If you go to a restaurant and it's after 6 p.m., it will be busy. If you go at 5 p.m., it'll be quieter. If your date is an introvert, choose the earlier time. If they're an extrovert and they don't mind sounds, if you both don't mind loud sounds and noise, choose something a little bit later. Also, you got to consider if the restaurant is very busy, it means you might wait longer for your food. So these are all things to think about. Talk to friends and family. Get their advice on restaurants, places to go where they've had positive experiences. And again, read the reviews. The same goes for a venue. What time do you need to arrive? What time do you need to leave the house at? How is your time management? If your time management is not very good, then you need to be on the ball. Prepare ahead of time. Plan your date. What time do you need to leave the house at? What time do you have to arrive at the venue? How are you getting there? Are you taking a bus? Are you taking a cab? Are you taking an Uber? Are you walking there? So make sure that you know when you're going to arrive. And again, when you research ahead of time, what time does the event start at? Is there going to be a lineup? What's the weather like? Will it be raining outside? Do you need an umbrella? Will it be cold outside? Do you need to dress warm? If you're dressed up very nice for an event, and your date is wearing uncomfortable shoes, that means they're shoes that are not winter boots. Will you be waiting in line, or will they be cold? You need to think about all these things. So research is extremely important. When you're on a date, don't dwell on mistakes that happen around you. That can be a super bummer. Your mood will make the date a positive experience or a negative one. So do not complain about the food, the service, or activity unless it is blatantly bad. If your date makes a comment about that, also you're paying attention to them, their reaction, right? Are they overly critical? Do they complain a lot? So if you can make a joke about a negative experience, it'll make your date more comfortable. Nothing is more awkward than having sort of a negative food experience and you're both bummed out about it. So have fun with it. It'll become a fun experience down the road, a good memory. I got a story for you. I took my wife on a date before we were married, and I assumed the venue had a debit machine. They did not. So after dinner, I had to leave Jody alone at the restaurant, run down the street to find a Interac machine, get cash, and come back. That is not a great way to make a first impression. Thankfully, she was still waiting for me when I came back, and it became a funny story. So many years later, we still laugh about that moment. That's also a good sign if your date is a keeper. If they're okay with little mishaps like that, you make mistakes, you fumble the ball, so to speak. Are they okay and relaxed with you? That means they like you. If you can make mistakes and you both laugh about it. So the last part of the video is, well, where do we go? So we like each other. We want to spend more time together. What's next? One of my students in our workshop gave a really good piece of advice. It's a shout out to Brittany. You mentioned that if you're at a restaurant, you're basically sitting for 2, maybe longer hours together just talking. If you're socially anxious, if you're not sure what to say or do, despite all the advice they give you, your emotions and nervousness may get in the way. It can be difficult to have a 2-hour conversation. So a coffee shop is a great way to make it a bit shorter. You can also choose a time limit on your first time together. So an hour might be a great way to spend at a coffee shop, have something to eat and drink, catch up a little bit, get to know each other. My opinion, I prefer to choose an activity where there's something else that we can talk about. It'll break the tension. Example, going to a museum. A museum is a place where we can look at things, we can talk about that, and less to each other. So let's look at some examples here. I just looked up fun date nights, and I found 30 frugal date night ideas. So let's check it out together. Sports. If you guys are into sports, you can go play a game together. I mean, you can throw a football, you can throw a frisbee, take a kite out. Very simple. Going to a museum, that is a standard. Now, mini putt, sports, and bowling is like an old standby. Those are great, but also need to consider the person that you're with and even yourself. Do you find it challenging to do those kind of activities? If so, you may choose something a little more intellectual. So consider the person's motor skills. Are they able to do those activities? Going shopping. Like if you're in Ottawa, going downtown, going to a mall somewhere, going to your favorite stores, that's always a fun experience. If you're both adventurous, then look at activities like rock climbing, for example. There are indoor rock climbing gyms. That is exciting. Will give somebody a sense of adrenaline, give you a good dopamine hit. It's fun to do. In the summertime, you go kayaking, go hiking. Again, if you're going hiking, though, consider that, again, you're kind of forced to have a conversation together. So bringing a camera with you, and the excuse is you're going to take photos. That is something fun to do. You can also break up the tension by bringing somebody with you. So having a group event, if you're going hiking together, that means more people together talking. So you're still having a positive shared experience, but the tension is broken up with other people to talk to. So you can actually have a dinner night with your friends. So a group of 4 people can go out and share a meal together. That would be fun. A board game night would be a good one to go to. In fact, it says here, go to a car show. Well, check and see what's available on the weekend. What events are out there? Are there any concerts, music festivals? Is there a comic book convention coming up? Is there something that you're both interested in, like Magic the Gathering event? So things you both have in common, that's ideally what you're looking for. You know, and a bonus, if it's something that causes adrenaline and is fun and exciting, that will help anchor those, positive emotions with the person you're with. But if there's chemistry, none of that stuff really matters. In fact, just hanging out and doing nothing with a person you really like, if there's chemistry, it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to have a good time. So those are some just basic tips for making good impression, where to go. In our next video, we're going to get a little more into the body language component. We're going to talk about your self-esteem, and we're going to get into a little more details, especially if you're meeting somebody and there's mixed signals. What do you do? That is a tricky one. Talking about, after your date, texting or emailing them or calling them back. When is texting or emailing too much? What if you get infatuated with them? They're not interested in you. What if you're not interested in them and they're infatuated with you? Stay tuned for the next video. We'll cover all that. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Visit SpectrumInsights.ca. Just for girls summer camp done the right way. Moving forward is what we do with our Spectrum Insights social group. There's outdoor